Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is the week of May the 2nd, 2024. So, biggest news this week, the current challenge is Gaslight Batman. It is a one-week challenge. Required characters are Batgirl, Joker, and Raven, who are available as cheaply as Challenge Gold, Silver, and Challenge Gold, respectively. His passive is Guardian Angel. Batman evades enemy tag-in attacks and has a high chance to throw a grenade that causes burning upon enemy tag-in. On teammate tag-in, a swarm of bats attacks the enemy, which causes damage over time, and a chance for the enemy basic attacks to miss for 6 seconds. He's got 1400 attack and 1400 health. He was last available on the 21st of May, 2020. So this is one of our missing challenge characters that coincidentally we started doing in our season 11, our current season 11 of our Q&A, and we reviewed him in January. So a little wild. He's got very high stats. All the things that make him annoying to face in multiplayer online is what makes him useful. Despite his passive being 2 sentences, he's actually got 4 parts to it. 1, he evades enemy tag-in attacks. 2, that high chance to throw a grenade that causes burning upon enemy tag-in, that's actually, it feels like it's pretty much every time, 100%. Teammate tag-in causes damage over time. And basic attacks miss for most of 6 seconds. I mean, it says a chance. The chance is very high. Now, the damage over time is not that useful. It's only a tiny bit when you tag in against him and when the teammate tags in. It looks worse than it is. The animation is clearly, it makes you worried, but there's not a lot. The key is the evading enemy tag-in attacks. I mean, it stops Master's Death Cart from working. It stops Rebirth Raven from stealing his power. It stops tag-in passive effects like Cassandra Cain Batgirl, Luchador Bane. And it protects against Arkham Knight Batgirl's passive so that when she tags in, she won't stun you. So if you've set up Gaslight Batman to be your main damage dealer and you're fighting an Arkham Knight Batgirl team, she'll save her teammate, but you're not going to be stunned and vulnerable, which is amazing. Now, as the star of your team, as the main damage dealer, his special 2 is back-end loaded. There's 3 hits. The first is a small amount of damage, but cannot knock out the opponent, despite what we said in our January 23rd Q&A. That was a mistake. It was probably the effect of Skulls or Master's Death Cart that knocked out the opponent. The second hit cannot knock out the opponent, and only the third hit, the final hit, can. So he falls prey to the same problem with the late game, high damage challenge characters whose special 2 can only knock out the opponent on the last hit. Now, because it's back and loaded though, it's still a pretty useful special 2 against somebody like Raven or John Stewart Green Lantern, where they have passives that engage at a certain low level of health, because you can bypass it completely. So if you really want to be careful, what you do is just don't do a lot in the minigame, in the first part of a special 2, but max out the tapping in the second minigame, and then you're much more likely to just knock both Raven and John Stewart Green Lantern just right out, or any teammates of John Stewart Green Lantern. So unusual for Batman skin, his secondary effect of special 1 is bleeding instead of stun. So Batman Ninja Batman also shares this. Stun, I think, would be better. The amount of bleed is negligible, but like all bleeds, I like the fact that it allows for inflicting boosted damage. So again, we talked about this not too long ago, a few months ago. The most important thing is really that the pattern of challenge characters that was missing, 23 of them, has finally ended. And after a total of 204 weeks of the repeating pattern, after 4 complete cycles of 43 characters, and 32 weeks in the 5th cycle, we almost finished a 5th cycle. We are completely in uncharted territory. I'm hoping that this is the first week of a brand new cycle that includes everything. there are 22 more missing challenge characters that may potentially be put into the schedule. So fingers crossed. Here's hoping that this is just the beginning of, I guess, reintegration. The multiplayer reward for the rest of the week is going to be Overpowered Super, which starts off as the Overpowered pill. And when it's maxed out, there's 50% damage boost to basic attacks, 50% crit chance on basic attacks, 90% life drain chance on combo ender, and when evolved, there is a 100% chance to drain 15% power on combo ender. It was last available September 28th, 2023. That is 175 weeks in a row of a consistent pattern, 5 complete cycles, 31 rewards in that cycle, and this is 20 weeks into the latest cycle. So unlike the challenge cycle, nothing is missing from multiplayer rewards. If the pattern holds, next week should be Flashpoint Aquaman. This is an excellent piece of gear for a basic damage dealer. It's got the highest crit chance for basic damage possible, 50%, so that a max augmented card can get as close to 100% crit on basics as the game allows. It comes at a cost, though, because the damage boost is only 50% instead of the usual 70% in the 3.5 star gears that have 70% basic damage boost plus 40% crit chance boost. But there's 2 combo ender effects, health drain and power drain. I'm not the biggest fan of combo enders, but the 2 other abilities make up for it. And so what you're looking at, I think, is the platonic ideal of gear for basic damage dealer, the same way that Tantu Totem is for special specialists and Astro Harness is for tanks. Unfortunately, in the current meta of the game, basic damage is not as important, so the gear, by extension, isn't as important, but it's still really good if you want to have a basic damage dealer on your team. All right, so what's in the store? There is Rebirth Jessica Cruz Challenge Pack. Okay, so that's a little bit wild. It's for 200,000 power credits. There's a 6.16% chance of getting her instead of the 2.86% in the regular challenge pack. So it's not worth it unless you sell back every other character. If you're going to be keeping any of them besides Jessica Cruz, basically, you're better off just getting the regular challenge pack. So this is where we look to when there's a new character pack, whether it's a challenge pack or a cash pack or whatever. This is where we usually look to for a corroborating clue to the challenge. Now, is it going to be Rebirth Jessica Cruz? It's a little bit early. She was last available November 2023. The character that it was supposed to be this week instead of Gaslight Batman was Red Sun Green Lantern, who was last available July 2023. And Red Sun Green Lantern does not have his own pack. Typically, when it's the week of Red Sun Green Lantern's challenge, there's some Green Lantern pack, just not necessarily his. Sometimes it's John Stewart Green Lantern. Who knows? But that seems a much more likely candidate for next week. Now, the wild card would be, could it possibly be an indicator that they're going to start really rushing through some of the lost challenge characters and put in, say, Yellow Lantern Hal Jordan, who's been missing from the challenge for quite a while now? Yeah, because I think that's the only other green, or he's not even really Green Lantern, the only other category appropriate Green Lantern that's possible. And he was last available February 2020. So if I had to make a guess, I'm guessing next week is going to be Red Sun Green Lantern. So my guess is that they're going to try to integrate the missing challenge characters, not all as a chunk, but in bits and pieces through the rest of the cycle. Fingers crossed, because that's assuming that they're going to be putting all the other lost challenge characters there. So we've got what else we got? We got the second week of the Ultimate Bundle Bringers of Justice. We talked about that last week. And also the Ultimate Bundle Villains and Monsters. And there is the Arkham Asylum Pack 1 for $24.99 Canadian, the only currency that matters. And the description is, this pack includes Arkham Origins Batman, Arkham Origins Deathstroke, and a new, more powerful Arkham Harley Quinn. So despite having a picture of Arkham Knight Batman on the outside of the pack, Arkham Knight Batman is not available. It's not an awful pack, but for what you get, the other Arkham Asylum pack, where you get 3 possible Arkham characters and a chance at Arkham Knight Batman, I think that's probably a little bit better. But it's not. It's a good team. It's a team with pretty decent synergy. So no other new packs this week, but I will make one prediction based on the patterns that we've seen, and hopefully the only change we're going to have is that they're going to be adding all the challenge characters back. But based on the pattern, next week there's a chance that there's going to be a Survivor pack, and I'm going to guess that it's going to be the Teen Titans Cyborg plus animated Harley Quinn plus animated Batman Beyond pack for 585,000 credits. A bunch of other packs, nothing new. They've all been around for quite a while. Phantom Zone is finished. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was Cyborg, Batman, and Black Adam. So this coming weekend is probably going to be Deadshot, Wonder Woman, and Static. Okay, so as far as current glitches go, we go into more detail every time something significant changes, which did not happen this week. However, even if nothing changes, we still do a more detailed review once a month, the first week of every month, and that's today. If you don't have the patience to sit through the rest of this particular video, you can see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist, current working glitches, linked in the description of this video. But what we do in our weekly recap when we go over it is just mention specific things to watch out for and emphasize the sort of key parts that may not be obvious. So, current glitches, you can reach them by clicking the eye in the top right corner of this video too. We're Android only, so we're only able to confirm these glitches for Android. And the way we usually like to start it is with the significant not working glitches. There is no working glitch for credits that we're willing to endorse. We talk about this in more detail in previous Season 6, Episode 9 of our P and Q and C and A and T. It's worth repeating to the larger audience here. Some people have been successfully exploiting a glitch that requires 2 devices being logged simultaneously into one account. We only endorse and recommend glitches that we test and confirm ourselves, and being logged into one account on 2 devices is not a glitch that we're willing to test because of the high risk of damaging your account, of potentially getting your account suspended, and potentially having stuff messed up. Not worth it. The glitch for getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards is not working. The glitch for getting early multiplayer season rewards is not working in a way that is exploitable, although from comments that we see every once in a while, it seems like it's probably happening inadvertently and messing people's seasons up. There is no glitch to get through Phantom Zone quickly, although if you're interested, we got a bunch of speedruns. We got a playlist of speedruns of Phantom Zone, actually. And the glitch that used to let you get the free energy without watching the video, also not working. That is separate from the time shifting for free energy. So now we get to the working glitches. The glitch to let you play Phantom Zone repeatedly when it's around was still working most recently with the most recent Phantom Zone. As we mentioned in the glitch video, its greatest value may be in avoiding the 50 nth metal that it costs for the 2 replays that you normally get, since it takes a lot of time to play it through completely 3 times on elite level, so not as much of a saving as you'd hope. The challenge reset method that requires Google Play Cloud Save is working, confirmed on the current Gaslight Batman challenge. The challenge reset can remove Phantom Zone progress when the Phantom Zone is present, so keep that in mind. Make sure that any Phantom Zone crystal progress that you have is progress that you're willing to potentially lose if you're going to be using the glitch. They're basically the same glitches, which is why that happens. We've got a comment from viewer Tammy Kakde about which files that you could just move around on your device instead of deleting it, because you need to re-download more than a gig of data if you're on anything higher than Android 9. All right, so the breakthrough glitch to let you play repeatedly is still working. The airplane mode / refund glitch is still working, good for both packs with random drops and last laugh tickets. Despite all the comments from people who are saying that it works for them in the Phantom Zone, it does not work for us. And that is consistent with how it works because it requires an online connection. We strongly recommend against doing the variation where you switch between accounts instead of clearing app data. There is too big a risk of account bleeding and messing up your account. So the reason why it seemed like it was working the first few times we tested it was that it just shows you different rewards. But when we went to our resources, we never got the new ones, the changed ones. So yeah, I mean, use that at your own risk. I mean, it really, all it's going to do is cost you a lot of time if you do it and it doesn't work for you. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. Remember, super important, return your countdown clock, the cooldown clock, back to normal before you finish. Not doing that has been probably the single biggest cause of people not getting events when they're supposed to happen. So events, I mean, Phantom Zone, the challenges, people who are complaining that they're not popping up when they should. It is very likely due to time shifting and at some point having your device clock and calendar being out of sync with the server one. And in between not working and working glitches, we have the promotion glitch where you can promote characters that are still locked. Still hasn't had the right conditions since update 2.14. Still not testable and still not usable and still not failable, right? One of those conditions is having the challenge in the first slot of the main page, but has consistently been in the second slot with a cash pack in the first, if it shows up. So even if the other conditions come back, this glitch isn't doable. It's going to be removed from the list once the required conditions show up and it fails us for the first time, because every time the conditions have been right, it has never failed us. And yeah, that's it. This is where we like to give a big thank you to our patrons on Patreon, and that would be Michael Devries, Irvin Ruiz, Hoshi127, and Nora Klimek, who are supporting us on the credited level, and 5x5, who is supporting us on the gratitude level. And a big thank you to you, the viewer and the listener, who is watching this video, because without you, we wouldn't be doing this at all. We'll see you next time. Komoda.